Okay, so it was about 1 o'clock in the morning, and I was just hanging out with some friends. And my mom calls, and she's like, "Get home." And I'm like, "Why? I'm hanging out with friends." And she's like, "Because I said so." And that's like what she says to everything, "because I said so." And it's so annoying, so I was like angry because she made me leave. And so I get home, and I get to her room, and she goes, "Come here." And I'm like, giving her attitude because I'm all upset because she made me leave. And I'm like, "What do you want? I'm trying to go to sleep. I'm tired." And she's like, "Come here." And I'm like, "Oh my God." So I walk to her, and I'm laying there, and she's like holding me and hugging me, and I'm like, "Okay, Mom, like let me go to sleep." And so I finally go to sleep, and I'm wondering why she's so being lovey-dovey, like moms do. And I'm laying there, and I fall asleep. And my brother wakes me up about 2 hours later. He's like, come here, now. And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Get over here." And I walk into the room, and I look on the floor, and she's laying there. Like, no emotion, she's unconscious, I have no idea what's going on. So I'm on the phone with 911, I'm pacing back and forth, running around, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. And my brother touches her to pick her up, and she starts shaking. And I'm freaking out, and I don't know what to do, and I don't want to touch her because I'm scared. And they take her in the ambulance, and they take her home, or take her to the hospital. And at this point, I go back to sleep. I wake up about 2 hours later, and I decide, okay, I need to go to the hospital. Like, I don't know what's going on. I get to the hospital, and she's now in the ICU. She's in critical condition. She's on life support. And at that point, I have no idea what's going on. I know that the only thing the doctors keep telling me is there's nothing we can do. And I'm like, well, what do you mean there's nothing we can do? She's in a hospital. Like, what do you mean? And she's laying there, and I'm looking at her, and I'm like, what went wrong? And the doctors are like, her body has a full-blown infection. There's nothing we can do at this point. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? And they're like, just what I mean. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So my family gets together, and we decide that my mom had told us if it ever got to this point, that if she was ever in the ICU in critical condition on life support, that it was now up to us. We decided what we wanted to do. And as a family, we decided to get together, and we decided that we knew that she did not want to suffer anymore, and we knew that she was no longer in pain at this point, that the best thing to do was to release her and let her be. And so at that point, we decided to take her off of life support. She lasted until about 9 in the morning, and we told ourselves, you know what, she's been fighting this for about 2 years. She's been fighting cancer for about 2 years, and I think she's ready. And so we laid there, and me and my brother both fell asleep exactly at the same time, both on each side of her bed holding her hands. And me and my brother still recall to this day that we had the same exact dream. We both fell asleep. She was standing right next to us by the bed, and she looks at both of us, and she says, "You guys, you have each other. It's going to be okay. I love both of you so very much." And at that point, we both had woken up to my aunt saying, "You guys, wake up, like, it's almost time." And I remember waking up and looking at my brother, and him looking at me. And we were like, whoa, like, we just had like this connection. And it was just so amazing. And at that point, I look at the monitor, and I start seeing the numbers slowly dropping. And I'm crying, and I'm sobbing, and I'm like, why does this have to happen? And the monitor's falling. And at that point, I'm just looking at her, like, waiting for her to wake up. I'm like, no. Like, no, this is not happening. And she doesn't wake up. At that point, I start freaking out. I'm running around the hospital, running to the bathroom, running down the hallway, screaming my head off. Like, I don't care about anybody else trying to sleep. I'm screaming. And I'm like, no, this isn't happening. I'm hoping so badly that the minute I walk back in that room, she's going to be awake. Everything's going to be fine. I've been dreaming this entire time. But no. I walk into the room, and she's laying there, and I'm like, this, okay. So I'm trying to compose myself, and everyone's just like huddling around me. And luckily, after all of this happened, I realized that don't take things for granted, because you never know like what's gonna happen. And to this day, like, if I fight with my boyfriend or fight with anyone, I know that, like, no, like, don't take this for granted, because I was being so rude to her that night, and that's where it ended up. And so, yeah, that was the worst night of my life.